Okay, we are back for round two. Time to Izzet Tron some people. And this chat window is in the wrong place again. Wow. Wow. Winning the dice roll again, like E-Boss. This hand is fine. Gonna lean quite heavily on this Izzet Signet, and I'm very glad we're on the play. So we can actually possibly cast spells in a timely fashion. Temple Garden is traditionally a good time if you're casting things off of Tron lands, but we shall see. Depends if he's gonna Reclamation Stage. I do like the subtle pauses sometimes. That you can always tell on Magic Online when someone is a little bit taken aback because their pace of play will suddenly change. A Rock Swarm Monk. See the pause. See the pause that I just did there. That's what I'm talking about. So next turn I will be able to electrolyze 1/1 and then lightning bolt this. So I don't think I want to spew the electrolyze on just killing this turn. So instead I'll play another Izzet Signet and see what's going on. I mean, maybe there's going to be like a sword. That would make sense. So while I don't know exactly what's happening with my opponent's deck, I like it. After Scotland's good run in the World Magic Cup last year, I've had a newfound appreciation for Citadel Siege because that card was a beast during that tournament. So my cunning plan is to play a Citadel Siege deck at some point. Well, I think I need to Lightning Bolt that. I believe they can only make it a 3/3 unless I'm missing something, and if I am missing something I'm gonna look very embarrassed very soon. Okay, I did not get blown out by something, but if it was a spell, I mean, I had the Spell Pierce ready. So we have 5 mana and Through the Breach. That's nice. I think that since my my cunning lightning bolt plan on this War Monk has left, I'll now electrolyze. I don't have enough colored mana to potentially snapcast. Well, I don't have enough mana in general to snapcast a bolt to kill this. So I'm just going to try and limit their options. Since I have the Through the Breach, all I need is an Emrakul. Even a Kozilek would mostly do it at this point. That Izzet Signet doesn't seem necessary to play this turn. I would rather keep up Spell Pierce for something I don't expect. Like maybe they play Island and retreat to Coralhelm, since that tends to go along with this card. I mean, also Knight of the Realm Quarries is great. Wait, they just sacked their Windswept Heath and did not get anything that can produce blue, and they clearly have blue spells in their deck. Sally Pride Mage, no! Here's the Signet. Okay, so they already had it, I guess. Noble Hierarch. Okay. All the clocks suddenly increased. maybe I'm going to get punished for not playing this Izzet Signet. But at least I can certainly buy some time by jump blocking with Snapcaster and casting more spells. A remand. Well, in full punishment mode for not casting Izzet Signet last time, I thought it was maybe likely that I would want to hold it in case I happen to draw Izzet Charm, then have more things to discard. Looking like the spell Pierce, it's increasingly dodgy. Although I don't expect to have too much reach, so as long as I'm not dead to combat damage, I should be relatively okay. Scavenging Ooze. That's a little bit scary. I'm gonna remand this. It could actually have grown itself out of lightning bolt range there if I snapcasted it back. And, well, obviously it turns off Snapcaster also. And their main phasing gain a life. Main phasing gain a life to play around Snapbolt, which is also played around by by just removing this. But they don't know that I only have one bolt in my deck, so their play makes sense. Electrolyze. So let's see. Being very careful here, a little bit prone to difficulties with signets on Magic Online sometimes. Opponent rightfully afraid there when I started tapping a bunch of mana, but he did not get incredibly punished. We're at the stage though that Through the Breach Emrakul does not necessarily get the job done, since they can sacrifice 6 lands and leave this Rock Swarmonk alive. I actually don't have anything to answer that. So we're still in a bit of trouble. I'm not quite sure what the plan is. The plan might be, embarrassingly enough, Through the Breach Emrakul to block. And that sounds awful. But at least we have a backup Emrakul. So there's 2 ways to look at it. We can throw in Through the Breach Emrakul to block, which leaves them minus the Warmonk, but plus 6 lands. But then I don't need to. Then I have only one more turn to draw a card to deal with the Warmonk, which would either be another Through the Breach or like another Snapcaster. It's fairly tough because if we do go through the Breach, then we're sort of at the mercy of the top of our deck. I mean, we are sort of in both ways, but I think theoretically, if they have nothing, then I think we can get away with it, but and we're still a bit on the short side from casting this. and we are 4 mana short of doing so, so a single Izzet-Tron piece doesn't do the job. I think the chances of them drawing a creature which I then probably need to chump in the future are too high, and I just tapped horribly there, even though I don't actually think it matters, but we still tapped horribly. So we could draw a Kozilek. That'd be great. So I guess since we tap like this, like a chump, we are dead to them playing a white producing land and Path to Exile on Snapcaster Mage. And that looks like exactly what's going to happen, and I deserve it. Nope, it's Forest. I guess they had Plains, Hallowed Fountain, Temple Garden in the graveyard already. Ours are mine, and we're dead. Alright, we deserve it. So let's see, what do we have here? We can bring in some more bolts, which seem quite good since we need to answer Night for Inquiry fairly early. The spell pierces didn't seem great. I expect Keranos will be quite good against him. The Izzet signets are quite on the bad side though. I think it's plausible that I should maybe take them all out and maybe like replace them with like Relic of Progenitus, just because it's, you know, cycles through my deck and it doesn't allow me to get blown out by an artifact removal spell. So that's the option, I think. I think on the play, like Izzet Signet's pretty good. I don't think they have a very particularly efficient way to deal with it. But on the draw, then they'll be able to, you know, press their advantage a lot more with Kasali Pride Mages and that sort of thing. Well, these Spell Snarers are hopefully going to not be bricked. But if they play like 1-drop into a bunch of 3-drops, then we can remand and then electrolyze their mana birds at least. There's a Bird of Paradise. Then you see the nice thing about this deck is that I don't have any cards with kicker, so F8ing works every time. So if you're wondering, I have this habit of like yielding to effects like that because it's quite easy to accidentally click through things and not retain priority when you want to. Or at least it's easy for me because sometimes I'm not so smart. Sometimes, I hear your question. We obviously can't cast Electrolyze here, which is part parcel of playing this deck. Electrolyze is admittedly a tough ask sometimes. Another Rocksmore Monk, another Remand. We're developing our hand fairly nicely, although we have doubled up on these Tron pieces. Unfortunately, not the correct ones. Ooh. Well, there is the full Tron. If we want it. It's conceivable that we want to go get a steam vents or an island because we have multiple blue cards. I don't think that's actually what I'm going to be doing, but it's a play that is available and not completely horrendous. But because we have Epiphany at the Journeyard, I'd much rather just full Tron up and then cast it for millions at the end of their turn, hopefully. And they get it this time. The Rock Swarm Monk having 4 toughness was actually significantly relevant last game. Meddling Mage, well, that's getting spell snared. Especially since it is not Crispicula. And I'm not saying I have Crispicula either. But it makes it extra important never to let new arts win. I say looking at my brand new, where's the power plant? You could say that I should try and play around enemy counterspells here, but I want to see what's happening really before I make more decisions with my Epiphany. It might actually just be a horrible, horrible mistake to not cast Epiphany as a Journeyard right there. I'm willing to entertain that idea. But we're casting it for so many. And we actually have some acceptable cards available. Oh, first combat blood. Also, the Rockswarm's lifelink last game put them well out of range of being hit to death with a single Emrakul hit. Okay. Counter me. Incidentally, the last game where I managed to resolve through the breach, hit them with Emrakul, only sacked 6 permanents, and still lost the game, is sort of part of the reason why I quite like the Tron piece. Oh my god, it resolved. And this is quite a lot of lands. So let's just dump a bunch of Tron pieces down here. Okay, so we're gonna want. So this is actually quite a tricky proposition here. So we obviously really want Emrakul, and he really doesn't want us to have Emrakul. But this is a ton of cards. Let's see, let's double check what our land count is right now. So we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we only need like 1 Tron land more to do it. But we don't want to just put Emrakul plus nothing else because we're not really doing that much next turn. Because I sort of want to just, rather than cast through the beach, actually cast Emrakul. On the other hand, there's not too much for doing with all these lands. I mean, this was a lot of lands for an 11 card Epiphany. Also, if they don't give us this one, our graveyard gets shuffled back in. See, because if we... Yeah, I'll put Lightning Bolt back over there. I'll take these Tron lands. and give them the choice between a definitely castable Emrakul in 2 turns and all these sweet spells, which, you know, I can do the Electrolyze 1/1 plus Lightning Bolt thing again. We also have multiple towers in play, and since they can see that there are multiple power plants and mines coming, they can't, even if they had, say, a Tectonic Edge or a Ghost Quarter, they can't keep us off full Tron forever. Although, looking at it now, possibly I should have put another coloured land in this pile, since I can't play this Electrolyze. See the things you learn as you play games with the deck. I haven't exactly played a million games with this deck or anything, but what's this? Is it a collected company, perhaps? The card would be alright. Alright. I'm gonna play out some Tron pieces to guarantee some Emrakul action next turn. This looks like cord for 3. Could be a Meddling Mage, which would require some electrolysis. A Geist of Saint Shaft. That's not lethal, but if there's something nuts happening to me, then it could be. You know, what if they put like a Sovereigns of Lost Alara in play? Eternal Witness. Oh no. No, it's fine, because if they get a melee mage, we can spell snare it. Whew. Look, we're not completely out of the woods still. I mean, it's looking good, don't get me wrong, but it's within my ability to find a way to lose the game. So I think this does it. This does it, which is good because we, you know, saw 11 extra cards with the Epiphany, and if you lose after you cast it for 11, then possibly Epiphany is just awful. So we get to do this, post combat, make another Emrakul, take an extra turn, and so on and so forth. I just need to not accidentally click through my second main phase. Yay, for lots of clicking. I'm sure that's very annoying. I'll keep this one. I have successfully attacked twice with 2 Emrakuls this game, and it was enough. Once wasn't enough, most notably. The Through the Breach only seems to work against this particular opponent if they only have 6 or less permanents in play, since they keep putting their life total too high. Lightning Bolt I still think we want to keep. because, you know, Knight of Conqueror, even though it doesn't seem that great. I think we want some Pyroclasm though, since we've seen Geist. I wasn't particularly expecting Geist, but it makes sense. I think maybe this Kozilek gets the axe, and on the draw this Epiphanies maybe a bit slow, but we still have one. This hand's definitely a bit on the sketchy side, but it has Through the Beach and Emrakul. It has some lands as a remand. It's not. I think this hand would be very heavily favoured on the play, and if they didn't have a 1-drop, but I'm sure they've got 8 1-drops, so we have to expect it. But since we're on the draw, it's in fact not favoured, and I think we might be in a bit of trouble. I think the best case scenario, this is a War Monk and not a Geist or any other guy. I'll just crack this in response to put the fear into him. An Expedition map, that's fine. I don't need any particular land, I just need any land. Voices of Resurgence, that's definitely needs to be remanded, especially considering what our hand is. Unfortunately, they do have another land, so they can play another. To play it again, and I'm in a bit of a pickle. I need to draw a land, I suppose. If I draw a land in the next 2 turns, I think it might be okay, unless I'm dead, obviously. I think if I don't draw much next turn, I might just main phase my Snapcaster to soak up some damage. Oh, a Gavney Township. Ooh, the clock has increased. And that's actually very bad for me indeed. I guess we'll... So the theory is that you usually get towers last, because if you search up your last drawn piece and it's a tower, then it gets you a bit extra mana, but I don't think it's going to come to that this game, so... Okay, so they have way too many permanents for my liking in play. We really needed one of our red spells to reduce the permanents in play slightly, and we need to spend our mana now, or we're not going to get a chance to. So I hope the opponent does something that means we don't have to chump block this turn, but I expect they're just going to make us, because why wouldn't they? Oh, we're dead. Oh, good beats. We got off to a nice solid start. We had a slightly slow start, so the turn 5 through the beach with a single remand wasn't good enough. So I guess good games to them. Oh, can I make the chat come back? And now that I want the chat, it won't come back. Thanks, Magic Online.